Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hope everyone is doing well. Back again here to do a little walkthrough with one of my latest tracks, one of my latest productions. It's called Circles, and it's already out. And I'm behind schedule on doing this, but better late than never, most of the time. Anyhow, so yeah, let's just start running through it. I guess let's listen to a real quick section of it, which you're probably going to hear in the intro anyway. So yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not even going to play a sample because you already heard it in the intro. So here we go. Let's just start firing away and looking at the track. As always, kicks right on top. This kick is coming from this Vengeance Metrum, which I've had for quite some time and sometimes use more than others. But it's a cool little kick synthesizer. It's one of the older ones. There's probably newer, better ones out there, but I don't even use it that much. So, but it's an option. So that's pretty basic. Clap. This clap is a little bit more complex. This is something that I started doing in the Toolroom Academy. I haven't been doing it lately, but it is an interesting tip if you want to look at it. So, oh, that actually sounds nice. You know, maybe I need to do that more. Anyhow, so what's happening here is you have one clap right here that's panned left and right, and it's the same clap panned left and right, and one of them is pitched down probably. Okay, so that one's pitched up 3 semitones, you'll see here, and this one is pitched up 2, so it's a net 1 semitone higher on the left side. So if you hear this one by itself, if you're listening on stereo, headphones, or speakers, you'll see that that clap was coming just out of the right side. Maybe I have my headphones on backwards. Okay. Yes, I did. All right, so now it's coming out of the right side. And the left, right, and then there's another layer that's just down the middle. Right? So all together, it sounds like this. All right. So yeah, that's the clap there. Nothing special other than that. Well, it does have this reverb on it. It's a universal audio reverb. Oh no, it's just a lot of times I use the non-linear from this, but this is just the ambience, which is probably a hall or something like that, and just a little bit of compression on the distressor. Let's see how much. Quite a bit. 8 dBs of gain reduction is quite a bit. So who knows if that's how this track was mixed or not. I'm not absolutely sure because this is not the mix project. Another thing I always do oftentimes is just reverse my clap every 2 to 4, 8 bars just to give this little effect. Right? And so you put that together with the clap and it's right. Alright, so here I'm even only doing it, once every 8 bars, you'll see, at the end of the 4 bars in the middle of every 8. So just a little thing that pushes the whole thing together. This is another layer of the clap I guess I put on here too. Oh, it's kind of this perk that's on top, so the whole clap together would sound like this. Interesting. So now we're getting into some let's just go here while I'm here. This percussion verb You know what? I don't think that's in the final version of the song, to be really honest with you. Let's see. Yeah, maybe it is. I'd have to go back and look at it. That's interesting. But that's just a sample. Same thing here, panned left and right, I'm going to guess. Oh, no. It's just two different samples layered on each other. Maybe it is in the final track. I'm really not sure. That's interesting. This track actually has a long history. I started it over a year ago, and so that would have been in April or May of 2019, and it kind of sat dormant for a while because I was going to have the vocals re-sung because I made some changes to the pitch, and at that time I had spent so much time working in the song that the changes in pitch sounded really unnatural to me, so I wanted to get them resung. And that didn't happen really quickly, so finally months later I came back to it, and I thought, you know what, those changes in the pitch don't sound so bad anymore, so I just went with the original vocal. So moving right along, we've got the hats. These are just, I'll just build these up, maybe, and then we got this top here. Oh, alright, so it's a Mark Knight tool room top right there. Some rides. Lots of Mark Knight stuff on here. You know it. Shout out Tool Room Academy. And another big open hi-hat there. So those, let's just run through those individually. That's that hi-hat. That's that ride. That's that top loop. And those are those small hi-hats we looked at right there, right? Cool. In the breakdown section, there is this percussion. This is probably like a little wood block or something coming from this. Another Vengeance thing. The Avenger. Let's look at here, the drums. And yeah, percussion. And that's definitely some sort of wood block, although it doesn't say it. So, there's that. We got some shakers here, and the shakers are coming from the, what's this called? Shimmer, Shake, Strike. If I got that right, I did. It's a contact instrument, really cool for really live, natural sounding shakers. You'll see I've got this tambourine that's right on the 2 and 4, so that's also another layer on the clap, you know. So if we put the clap in there, you'll hear that tambourine is right on the clap, right? Obviously. So that's that. This is a really cool thing. I need to get back to using this as well. It's really nice. So where were we? We were here, shakers. Got another loop. There's a ton of drums in this thing. So that's just kind of filtered down loop that you can see has just been looped here. Every bar. High pass filter. Nothing special. This is a little snare fill that I chopped out of a different loop. Looks like a Vengeance pack, and I've just chopped out the snares there. Right. And kind of a 4-bar pattern, right? At the end of this 2 bars, just 1 snare hit. At the end of this bar, at these 2 bars, the double snare hit. Right? Okay, so we made our way through the drums, so let's just hear what those sound like all together. A drum rack, drum bus. Right, So those are the drums all together. This is the bass line. The bass line was definitely devised from this chord progression, but since it's in this order, and this is the way I always order my songs: drums, bass, piano, instruments, vocal. We're just gonna go in that order. So the bass, right? Simple. It is just a silent patch. ACR, which is that? Is that one of those silent bass patches? It must be ACR. Which one is that? Banks Custom. And Andre Chrome silent bass pack. That's where that comes from. So that's one I've had for a while and used quite a few things from. So check that one out. Andre, what was it again? Chrome, one or the other. I believe this is Off Recordings, if I'm not mistaken, which I have another really cool sample pack from them. So double check them. Check those guys out. Cool stuff. What's next? Okay, so yeah, I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot more simple than that. I mean, this is the bass line that is just following the root note of the chord progression. So we see that this track is probably in D sharp minor, and so the first chord is a D sharp minor chord, and there you go. Alright, so those are the MIDI notes. Let me just pull up the, let's go ahead and just look at the silent, why the MIDI notes are playing. That's always kind of interesting for people who don't really know how all this craziness works. So, this information here is telling this synthesizer what to play. Right? So I'm not going to go on and on about that, but you can see this is the information that's the synthesizer is being instructed to play. Right. Easy enough. I've got another version of the bass line here, which I've called sustain, so the notes are being sustained. Funny enough. And that goes to match a section in the song where the piano notes are probably also being sustained too. Let's listen. Yep. Right. So that's in the breakdown, in the verse, or in the chorus, excuse me. No, in the verse, excuse me. So, when the full track is going, the piano is like this. Oh, that's the other intro. So this is the full, so here it is. Bass line with that. So you'll see, let's do this right here, that you can do in Ableton, which is really cool, is you can look at both. So basically, without getting really into it, the bass line is following the chord progression, but it just has a couple extra little notes in between the chord hits. So like right here you can see there's a bass note, but the piano in yellow is not hitting on that spot. So more or less the bass line is following the rhythm of the piano, but you've just kind of got a couple of these notes in a couple of these bass notes in between the piano notes just to make a groove a little bit more. So let's listen to that again now that you know that. Right, so I think you got the idea about that. So this is a filtered piano, it says. So this is, I've just resampled the piano here and probably done automation. I was going to say with camel fat, but in this case I've done it with the Moog. So let's see what that sounds like. So nothing much. I've just taken the piano that we were previously listening to, recorded it into audio, and use a filter automation to, to introduce that sound. So you'll see I'm actually doing it right before here. Let's listen to that. So let's listen to the whole track right there. So what I've done is I'm using this filtered piano to lead into the full version of the piano. Right, so let's go ahead and just see how that works on the track. So it goes like this. Break up to make love. Around and around we go. Sometimes I hate that I love you. Keep going around in circles. All right, so yeah, so you see how that's working. Next is this little arp sound. It's kind of just in the intro, really. Yeah, it's the only place it's happening here. So that's what that sounds like. It's just some sort of pluck sound, once again from Silent. Is this from some sort of custom pack as well? This is from from Splice, a preset that I've got from there. And yeah, similar thing is happening here. I'm using the Moog filter once again to do a filter automation. Starts low. Right, so that's that. It's got a little bit of compression, a little bit of side chain. I always use that. Vengeance. Gosh, I do use a lot of Vengeance stuff. I didn't really realize that. Yeah, multi-band side chain. This is the one I always use. It's actually kind of interesting that there was those two other Vengeance things in here because I don't particularly use those that much, but this I do use on every single song. So yeah. So we've looked at the filtered piano already, same thing. This is just a little dub effect sound. We'll see where that's coming from. That's from Nexus. Just an effect sound, and it's just got a real long delay and reverb here, just with the stock Ableton plugins. It's got a high pass, low pass filter. Let's listen to it without any effects on it. See what that sounds like just by itself. Sounds like this. Just like that, right? So I've changed the frequency content. I've made a very long delay that's going into a reverb, which then is being, compressed just to smooth it out. So now the sound sounds like. Right, so that's that. High string. I know without even looking that this is also going to be Nexus. Vinyl strings. 3 in this case. This is my go-to. I use this for my high sustained string just about always. Either 1, 2, or 3, depending on the song. but this is where I'd always go to. A little bit of high cut, low cut once again. Like I said, we got the Vengeance sidechain happening there again too, just to keep it that pumping effect. Let's turn it off just so you can hear the difference, because the strings, it's pretty obvious to hear the pumping. Yeah, so listen without. Oh, that's funny, it just ended. Here we go. With. Right, so, yeah, that's that. Now, we've got a lot of vocal tracks here. There are a ton. This singer, Samantha, her last name escapes me right now, but it starts with a B. If you want to know, send me a message. I'll get you linked up with her because she's an amazing singer. I almost know what her name is, but I don't want to say it incorrectly. So, let's take a look at, first of all, why they. Oh, that's why. Okay, so yeah, so she just gives me lots of different versions of the vocals, and lots of different layers, and you'll see I have them pan left, pan right, some of them in the center. These little things are panned left and right. And I don't have a set system on how I would do this. It kind of just depends on what the singer might send me. And then just try and figure it out from there. And just trying to figure out what the best balance might be. So let's just listen to her vocal by itself real quick. I think I've got it soloed, and now I do.
Break up to make up, around and around we go. Sometimes I hate that I love ya, when we keep going around in circles. We go from break up to make up, around and around we go. Sometimes
Love her voice. She's amazing. The lyrics, amazing. She's great. So that is, that's the hook. Let's see, this is probably going to be the hook again too. So these are the verses.
I gotta get away from you, but not that far. 'Cause every time I run from you, end up right where we are. Yeah, we've caused each other scars, but love finds its way back in. We've caused each other scars, but we just can't stand being apart.
Right, so that's that. And now you'll notice I have all these other little tracks, these little slices, and those are the little, dub effects that you're hearing. So I've mentioned this on other videos. I don't like to do automation sends to delays and reverbs. I much prefer to just have them on another track, so they're right here in front of me. If I need to automate them, or if I need to make any modification to them, I have them right there on the page. And I know where they are in the arrangement, opposed to if I had to go down, open up my return tracks, find the return track that I sent this track to, and then try to automate it and not even really be able to see where that track is in the arrangement. So that's, for me, it's a total shit show. And the reason why this made sense in the past was maybe if you were working in a studio with hardware, maybe you only had one delay unit. So in order to be able to use that delay unit on multiple tracks, you would have to send it to a bus. So you really had no other choice. But now with the computers, and we can have unlimited delays and effects, it just doesn't make any sense for me to to try and do it the old way when I can have a specific delay for every single track. So that's my thinking about it. So so let's just look at this delay. So and I'll bring this up here so we can see it. So so all I'm doing is just taking a duplicate of the main audio, dragging it down, a copy, to a track below. On that track, you have a delay that's 100% wet and of reverb, or excuse me, of delay. So that means you're going to hear only the delay signal of this track. And you're going to hear the original here. So let's take a look at this little passage here. So you're going to hear the whole phrase here, and then on this track, we're going to see that we're going to hear the delay.
But not that far, 'cause every time I run from you.
Right, so I just go through the verse and I just find where the space is and keywords, and just find those delays and find the right rhythm that works so that those delay effects fit with the track. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, the bones of that. So of the delay. Now this here, let me listen to this by itself. Okay, so what's happening here is this is just a small section of the vocal that's just being looped over and over again. This was probably set up in here. It's now been bounced to audio, so I can't exactly show you, but I guess I can recreate it. Okay, so what it's doing is, let's see, is it how many? Yeah, so it's just a half a bar. So now I'm going to loop just this half a bar, and it sounds like this. Alright, so it's just going around in circles. How about that? So yeah, so what I did was I found a little piece of the vocal. I looped a half bar of it, and now you can see it's been bounced down to the full length that effect is being used. But in essence, it's just a half bar of some of the vocal being looped. So that's pretty simple. All these are variations of the delay effects that we talked about. And then we here have just some different effects. So this is a clap that's being used in the breakdown.
We've caused each other scars, but love finds its way back in.
Right, so when all the other drums come out, I have just this clap going there to just, you know, keep the pulse of the track. And I tend to do these drum parts that are going to be in the breakdown in the effects group because my main drums are probably going to be filtered at some stage during the breakdown. And I want those drums that are just for the breakdown to not be included in that drum bus filtering, for example. So that's why I'll have those breakdown claps there. I'll probably have right here the snare build as well, because I don't want that to be filtered along with the main drum bus. So really simple effects here. Crash, 909, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with the 909 crash. Millions of dance records use it. Who am I to say I can make something better? Reverse crash, I always put a reverse into the crash. So it sounds like this. Right, that's that deal. White noise. Yeah, this is being filtered. There is my trusty camel fat. That's what I'm most likely to use. So what's happening here is so right here we're at between, the intro and in this case I do this little breakdown before the main drop. So what's happening here is, let me switch the automation on. Let's take a look at the automation. Why won't my automation pop up? That's awfully strange. Let me see here. If I do it manually here, let's see. Oh, that's weird. Have I gotten so used to Cubase that I don't know how to turn the automation on in here now? Let's do it manually. There it is. Wow, that's so strange. Okay, so this is the filter automation. Let's look at it again. So this is 4 bars before the breakdown, and this is 4 bars after, 4 bars before. So 4 bars before the breakdown, the filter is opening. And then once we get to bar 33 in the beginning of the breakdown, there's 4 more bars where it's being filtered down. So this is the filter right here. So let's just take a look. Let's listen to the whole track. You can hear it. Well, let's listen to it by itself first, and then you can hear it in the track. So listen. Filter moving up. Filter moving down. All right, cool. So let's listen to it in the context of the song.
Gotta get away from you.
Right, so that's that. And then just another couple quick effects. A riser. I've used a sample here. And just some high cut, some low cut, some reverb, some compression, some multi-band compression. And that's going right along with the snare build. Right? So most of you will know that in context of the track, it sounds something like this.
Going around and 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 going around from break up to make up.
Cool. Yeah, to me it sounds like something is missing from there, but this is not the final version of the track. So anyhow, those I believe are all the sounds. Well, the last thing we didn't look at in isolation, but we did just hear was this. All right. So when the track comes back in, you've got this extra little effect to kind of make it all that more dramatic. So let's just listen to 2 bars before, and we've got this.
Going around and going around from break up to make up. We go.
So that's it. Those are all the tracks in this song. Circles. It's out now on my label, Rhythm Culture Records. and you can buy it wherever you like, or listen to Spotify, or if you don't have Spotify, it is also on the Rhythm Culture Records YouTube channel, the full radio version of the song. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me this long, guys. Much appreciated. Comment with any questions, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.